double checking my diameters for the last cut here. 2 inches, 3.9, 3.10. 2 inches, 3.44. So we'll go 10, 20, 30, 35. 40, 20,000 per side. Here we go. Should be finished cut. So nice. So nice. Woohoo! That's the balls. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here. We're getting ready to do some tinning for Babbitt pours. Now, you've been watching us do a few of the episodes or scenes of creating this bearing, and what I did is I duplicated this old shaft bearing, which is self-aligning bearing that was designed for the World War II DUKW vessels. They're now called duckmobiles, and they're used in a lot of amphibious tours in different towns. Boston's got a big fleet up there, and right here in Hyannis, Cape Cod Tours has got World War II vessels running, and a pair of Larks. Those are aluminum hull vessels, and those were Vietnam Air vehicles. Anyhow, what I want to do is go ahead and kind of tag a little bit more on the Babbitt pouring for this, because I'm going to have two pours. One is going to be enclosed inside here. This is filled with Babbitt, and then it has 2 rubber lip seals, and these aluminums are slipped into those areas right there. Those seals would be coming in later on today. So we're going to be pouring in here. Now I'm just going to be able to smoke the shaft, slip the sleeves in here, the collars, and pour the Babbitt through the grease hole. And that's pretty well straightforward. I won't have to do anything other than just making sure it's clean and go ahead and smoke the shaft. Now we have 2 halves here, and this actually gets Babbitted in here because it holds the ball that this pivots slightly to align the shaft. And we're going to have to create, I've already got it drawn out on the plasma cam, we're going to be cutting out some aluminum that's going to be our dams and our spacers for that split line, and we're going to do it in 2 pours. But before we get into that, we're going to tin this surface. The reason why we're tinning this surface and not this surface here is because we basically have 2 halves, and they are pretty thin shelled bearings, and there is a couple holes that are drilled down into the wall, and usually those are lugs to keep the thing from popping out and help hold in the Babbitt itself. But these are really filled with a lot of corrosion. I have got this surface here really cleaned up. I don't have a bead blaster, but I did muriatic acid, and I was able to eat up the rust on the surface, but some of the area down in there, I still there's a remnants of it. But I'm going to be tinning the surface as much as I can, and that's what is going to guarantee the bond of the Babbitt in here. All right, so what are we going to use to tin it? Well, I have, out of my old collection here, I have a bar here of 50/50. This is made by J.W. Harris Company. I believe this particular bar and a couple other ones that I have in there, a handful I have, are over 25 years old. This was on hand when I left the yards because I was fluent in Babbitt pouring, and I've always had this on hand for my own use, and I just happen to have a new bar here, which is, this is going to be way more than enough to do this job. We're just putting a coating on there. Now, what do you use for flux? Well, this is soldering and tinning flux, okay, and this is called Stay Clean, and it's liquid. And this is made by Harris also. We're going to be squirting this on and scrubbing that surface, and then going into a warm enough temperature to go ahead and get the solder to take to the surface. Once we do that, then these are prepped and ready to be poured with Babbitt, and the Babbitt will join that flux and create a positive bond to the cast material. All right, so let's go ahead and get set up. I got my torch here, and I got a few other things. This is just fire retardant material. I use it used to be an old welding curtain, and I use it, so it basically, it'll catch anything that I'm absolutely dropping here. I just don't want to have to clean off my table. Other than that, we're cleared off here. We're ready to go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this little because this is really liquid, so this is going to be like dripping down in here. We'll try to catch as much as we can. We picked up a couple acid brushes so we can do that. We also, 50/50 solder melts at about 418 degrees. So I have 2 300 and 400 degree temp sticks. So we'll kind of watch the temperature as we come on up. And you know, I'm not sure if I'm going to have to like tip it or whatever in case some of the flux actually sits down in there. We have our fan on. I'm going to turn it direction around so that it's sucking out instead of coming in. There we go. All right. So we got plenty of ventilation in here, and we'll just let that fan get going for a little bit, and we're ready to start. All right, we're going to warm this up to temperature before we actually start putting a little bit of flux on there, because we don't want it to be fuming up here and all of that, and it's going to take a little while. we're spreading the heat out, not just right here, because if we just do right here, we'll hold away for a little bit and the heat will dissipate down through here. I might actually take a blanket and wrap around here so we don't have so much cooling coming through this. We'll see how this goes. 200 is starting to melt already. Okay, 300. 300 is starting to melt pretty good. Okay, we're getting a couple areas where 400 is starting to melt. Okay, I think we are losing a little bit out of that open area here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap a blanket around here real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and paint it up and we'll get it brought up to temperature here. Hey, remember that mirror I lost? Okay, I just got my heat blanket and it was folded up inside that. Okay, without the cool air coming underneath, because heat rises, cool air comes underneath. Lots of times on your casting, you just got to stop that flow from coming underneath, and you're going to maintain. All right. Okay, we're still melting at 200. Still melting at 300 there, and 400 is just barely starting to melt. All right, so we're getting pretty good here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to paint a little bit of this flux on here. Staying out of the fumes here. Okay, and it's got like a sticky surface all over it. There we go. Okay, let's get our glove on here, and let's bring you in as close as I can here. All right. I don't want to lose too much focus, especially with the heat and heat waves here. Okay, now we're going to start right down here in the bottom. Okay, we're going to have to scrub in some of that flux with a wire brush, kind of massaging that surface. Okay, see how that made it stick? Okay. Getting that coating worked on up the wall there. Make another puddle down here so we can draw it on up. This is stainless steel brush. I'm sacrificing. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, we got that coated up, and some of the flux there. See if I can even get a little bit down in this hole here a little bit. Yeah. All right. I like that. I'm just gonna live with that. That's got enough good contact area that I know we're going to be bonding that Babbitt right there. All right, we'll let that cool down, then we'll move this to the side and we'll get the upper half.